Most people go through their entire lives completely blind to the silent signals being sent right in front of them. Sherlock Holmes never fell for lies because he didn't listen to words. He clocked the hidden emotional slip-ups people try desperately to hide. Today, we're breaking down the 4 social deduction rules that'll let you read anyone's true intentions in an instant. Here's the first social rule. Topic 1. Establishing the baseline, detecting micro-inc. Here's the funny thing about human behavior. Nearly everyone tries to hide what they're really feeling, but they cock it up on the daftest little details. When the legendary detective of Baker Street sized up a suspect, he wasn't guessing intentions by magic. He was mapping out that person's behavioral baseline in their neutral state. Whether you're in a packed pub or a business meeting somewhere in the UK, the secret to reading someone isn't hunting for some flashy body language signal. It's spotting the sudden shift in pattern. If a colleague usually speaks slowly and talks with their hands, but suddenly crosses their arms and starts answering in short, clipped sentences the moment a certain topic comes up, that's your cue to sit up and take notice. That subtle shift away from the baseline is the perfect crack where the truth slips out before the person's even opened their mouth to lie. To catch these tiny tells in the moment, you need to train your eye to spot jaw tension, quickened blinking, and the micro-expressions that flash by in a fraction of a second. Brilliant books on behavioral psychology like The Body Speaks by Pierre Weil, or the classic Telling Lies by Paul Ekman lay out with proper scientific clarity how the brain involuntarily gives away our hidden intentions. Once you learn to spot these inconsistencies without coming across as invasive, you simply stop being fooled by fake smiles or pretty words, and you take control of the situation. Once you've nailed reading someone's neutral baseline, you gain a massive psychological edge in any kind of social or professional interaction. A person might try to hold an impeccable posture and control every single word out of their mouth, but the human body has a funny way of slipping up exactly where they least expect it. After all, controlling your face during a tense conversation is fairly easy, but hardly anyone remembers to hide what their own feet are trying to say. Topic 2. The limbic leakage, decoding foot and lower body language. Not many people realize this, but the most honest part of the human body isn't the face, it's the feet. Our limbic brain structure, responsible for our most primitive fight or flight reactions, makes us point our feet and torso towards wherever we genuinely want to go. In a relaxed social setting, or over a business coffee in the city of London, if you're chatting with someone and their feet are angled towards the exit, their body has already left the room, even if they're still smiling politely. This limbic leakage is the ultimate tell for figuring out whether someone's genuinely engaged with you, or just counting down the seconds until they can get out of the chat. The renowned body language expert and ex-FBI agent Joe Navarro, in his acclaimed book, What Every Body Is Saying, breaks down in detail how the lower half of the body reveals bottled-up intentions and anxieties. If someone starts crossing their legs defensively, jiggling their feet non-stop or tucking their heels back under the chair, that person's experiencing discomfort and losing their sense of control. Once you take this knowledge on board properly, you stop wasting your time trying to win over people who are mentally miles away, and start reading anyone's real level of interest with total clarity. Being able to see what's really going on beneath the surface gives you an almost surgical level of social insight in meetings and tricky conversations. You start knowing exactly the right moment to change the subject, back off, or seal a deal without having to go through the awkwardness of a flat-out rejection. That said, knowing how to read people's silent body signals is only half the equation, because the true master of deduction knows how to nudge people into showing their own hand without even realizing it. Topic 3. Calibrated probing, the art of verbal cold reading. The real art behind Sherlock Holmes's deduction isn't about bluntly pointing the finger, it's about casting out little test hooks to see how the other person reacts. The best way to read someone's mind without coming across as some invasive interrogator is by using calibrated observations and indirect statements. Instead of straight up asking a colleague or business partner if something's bothering them, you might drop a subtle line like, "You seem remarkably relaxed about such a tight deadline." That calculated little jab forces the other person's brain to respond involuntarily, either with a genuine confirmation or with a flicker of hesitation that gives away buried nerves. The great negotiation expert and author of Getting to Yes, Roger Fisher, stresses how using probing questions and mirrored statements disarms people's defenses and draws out their real intentions. When you drop a cold reading line and then hold a strategic silence, the natural awkwardness of the moment makes the other person fill that gap by revealing valuable information they'd never have offered up on their own. This simple tactic turns everyday chit-chat into a proper mental map, letting you see straight through to anyone's true intentions without ever raising your voice or stirring up any confrontation. Learning to steer someone else's words to expose hidden truths earns you a quiet sort of authority, sparing you from being blindsided by fake attitudes or sly betrayals. This skill of decoding other people's reactions with sharp emotional intelligence is what separates the ones who get manipulated from the ones who take the reins of the social dynamic. That said, the real point of mastering this whole deductive toolkit goes well beyond just reading other people. It's about building an unshakable mental fortress around yourself. Topic 4. The social deerstalker, shielding yourself from manipulation. Sharpening your social awareness isn't just about working out who's around you. It's about building a complete psychological shield against mind games and manipulation. In the corporate world or social circles across the UK, where veiled sarcasm and backhanded comments are practically the norm, the sharp-minded professional never reacts with anger. They respond with calculated calm. Once you start spotting other people's insecurities and little tricks in real time, any attempt to intimidate, disrespect, or belittle you completely loses its power to touch your emotional state. The celebrated book The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene shows brilliantly how staying an unmoved observer, keeping that analytical cool, earns you an unshakable status. Rather than getting dragged into pointless arguments or showing hesitation when challenged, you can simply use focused silence and a knowing deductive look to send the psychological pressure straight back at whoever tried to knock you off balance. That firm sense of self makes it crystal clear you're someone who sees straight through appearances and that you'll never be made a fool of in anyone's hands. Building that kind of steady, commanding presence means you can walk into any environment with total self-assurance, earning the respect and consideration you genuinely deserve. Bring together the baseline reading, the decoding of hidden body signals, the calibrated questioning, and this mental shielding, and your deductive arsenal is finally complete. With all these social pillars firmly bedded into your routine, we're ready to wrap things up and lock in this lesson for good. Conclusion: understanding Sherlock Holmes's deductive method for reading people's true intentions won't do you a bit of good if you keep waking up tomorrow and letting yourself get fooled, manipulated, or ignored in your day-to-day interactions. Real mastery of social dynamics calls for a cool, sharp, and properly practical mindset, one that lets you see straight through fake smiles and work out what people are actually feeling. Why keep playing the part of someone vulnerable to rejection and mind games, whether that's in the city of London or anywhere else, when you've now got the map used by the most observant minds in history? It's time to stop passively reacting to how other people behave and start reading the room with the precision of a true master of human psychology. I'll leave you with a direct question to chew on before you finish this video. If you carry on handling your conversations, meetings, and relationships exactly the same passive way you always have, where will your authority and your peace of mind be a year from now? Are you going to keep getting played by pretty words and fake signals, or are you finally ready to take control of your social circles and carry yourself with real presence? The people who genuinely earn respect and leadership don't fall for appearances. They watch the micro-expressions, they read the body language, and they act with absolute self-assurance. The choice is entirely yours. But remember, how the world treats you tomorrow depends on how well you can read people today. If you're determined to shield your mind, master the best emotional intelligence tactics, and keep unpacking these deep psychological frameworks with us, now's the perfect moment to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. By joining our community today, you'll make sure you never miss a single one of our weekly tactical guides on social power, dark psychology, and unshakable presence. Don't let this knowledge fade into the daily grind. Put the baseline rule into practice today. Start picking up on the silent signals, and we'll see you in the next video.